we're going to get started because the sooner we get into it, the sooner we get out of it, right? Okay, so there's a couple of things before we begin that I want to make sure I hit on. So I actually just sent all of you an email to your personal emails and to your student emails, and it's about class next week. So we will not be meeting on campus next week. Next week, you're going to do CPR and first aid training. So you're actually going to go to the training center to do that. They're going to do everything with you there. I do think that she said they were going to go till 1:30. So make sure that you plan that with whatever you need to, so that way you can be there the full time. Turn that off so it doesn't keep happening. Okay. So I've sent you the address of the place, the name of the trainer, and her cell phone number in case for whatever reason you guys, something comes up and you can't make it. And they also have a fragrance-free policy, which means that you cannot wear anything with a scent. She's super allergic to those things. Even some like strong deodorants get her, so just be cautious of that. So that's the first thing I wanted to hit on. Today is really going to be used as a day to practice skills because we're talking about computers. Let's call it what it is. We live in a day and age where if something is wrong with your computer, you call the IT person and they come and fix it.
Just turn it off, turn it back on.
And that's literally the first thing they always say to you. Turn it off, turn it back on. Okay. A million years ago when I first started medicine, we were the ones who had to fix the printers, the computers when we had them. We had to figure out how the copy machines worked, all of that jazz. So we don't have to do that anymore. There are people that are hired at companies to do that. Okay. But because of our accreditation, we have to still teach you this stuff. So we're going to go through a very quick Kahoot game. What did your face make that face for? Oh.
I was like, I did miss that 0.
Yeah. I will say anything that is loose leaf inside of your folders is for you to keep. Please don't give it back to me. I don't want it anymore. If I graded it, I don't want it back. If you have anything that you have to turn in, make sure that you do throw it in there. And we'll have you throw that in the black bin at the end of the day. So we're going to talk about computers, play a very quick Kahoot game, and then I've got an in-class activity that I'm going to have you guys, well, I was going to have you guys working on while we're rooming, but there's only 2 of you. So I'll have you guys take that home and work on it. It's not for a grade. It's just to see how you would respond in certain situations on the telephone, okay? We will then do a rooming, and I did give you a new rooming sheet. It looks a little bit different than what we've been using. For you guys, you're just going to stop at where it says vital signs. So you're going to do chief complaint, medications, allergies, vital signs, just like you were before. That's not going to be any different. The other things where it says like immunizations and injections, lab tests, coding for CPT and ICD-10, we're going to worry about that for next quarter, okay? But for today, you're just going to focus on that top part, so chief complaint, medications, allergies, and vital signs, okay? The nice thing is that I'm also now able to put who the MA is at the top, so always fun with that one, okay? We are going to do an injection review today and then do a random injection. So after we review them, I'll pull up what I like to use is the wheel of names. I'll throw a bunch of injections on that, hit the spin button, and whatever it lands on is what you're going to give. So it's a way for you to test your knowledge on what you know about injections. Because as we are in week 8, that means that we have 2 more weeks left of content before we have our practical final exam. And really, it's 1 more week because you're not going to be here next week. So I want to make sure that you're ready for finals. We're going to go over phlebotomy injection again, or phlebotomy review again, and we're actually going to do our second stick today, and we're going to use a butterfly draw. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, how we kind of set that up, and then let you guys practice that live, and then that's going to be it for today. Everybody good with that? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's get out our cell phones, computers, whatever you want to use for the game. I'm going to get the game up here. Maybe. Can't figure out how to spell my password. So this little Kahoot game is going to go in 3 parts. The first part is talking about the parts of a computer. And I'm going to back the camera up, so bear with me for a second, Ashley.
What's the?
You're going to go to www.kahoot.it. And when you get in, you're going to go to, they're going to ask you for a game pin. And that is going to be the 1167852. And I'm going to turn the lights off here. I like your eye patch brain. What'd you do?
I put the T inside the O's.
Oh, gotcha. All right. You're both in. Let's get to playing. Maybe. Do you not want to work today? All right. So the first part I think is 5 questions, so all basic parts of a computer. It's like a television. It shows us our activity on the monitor. What do we call that? Awesome. It's the monitor. Do you see how silly this is? But I have to do it. Our creditors say I have to teach you about computers. Nothing else, you'll walk out of this person like, oh my god, I'm the smartest person alive. All right, number 2. Can you can use your fingers to type on this. Whoa, it's a keyboard. I'm telling you. You don't walk out of here feeling like the smartest person after these 5 questions. I don't know what to do. Number 3. You can make us. Whoa. Yeah, thank you. Apparently I can't read. It's lack of sleep. That is your mouse.
It does say us.
It does say us.
It did say us.
Good to know my brain is not crazy. Well, it is, but that's another story. Number 4. When you use a computer, you sit in a chair. Whoa! So true. Now, to an extent, that's true. You can, in fact, use a standing desk, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day. All right, last question. A computer has a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. Whoa, that is true. Good job. I can't make it up, guys.
Do the creditors know what kind of questions you ask?
It used to be a thing where I had to take you and show you how a printer works. Show you how a printer works. That was my job. All right, second game. Just a new game pin. If they did, I feel like they would probably be a little upset, but also there are legitimate questions on your CMA exam, just like that. I wish I was lying to you. I wish I was lying to you in my heart of hearts, but I'm not. All right, let's play round 2. This is computer parts again. I don't really know what all 3 of them are. I didn't make this. So, what is the part of the computer we look at? Can't make it up, guys. not give you the answer? Yeah, we look at the monitor. I'm going to hope that was a finger slip. What is a CPU? It's a CPU.
It allows the computer to send and receive signals to the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's the central processing unit. It's essentially just the brain of your computer. All right. Number 2. Maybe. What is the part of the computer that runs the program? It's the CPU. Look at that. It's the brain. Does all the work. Number 3. What part of the computer has letters and numbers on it that we press? Nice, a keyboard. Last question. What part of the computer do we move around with our hand to point to things on the screen? That's right, a mouse. All right, let's do the last one. No, I'm not going to do the last one. Ta-da, that's it. That's how we're going to do with that. That's how I'm feeling today. Sure you feel just about the same way I do. No?
So I feel very.
You do? Shut. It's the best game ever, right?
You're gonna get a really good score.
I love that. All right, let's go ahead and do some rooming. I'm going to pause the video here so Ashley is doing some singing in class. I might have a heart attack. You're so stoic. All we get is a wow every once in a while. So if you start busting out with a song, I'm going to be really excited. All right, so we're going to do some review of injections. There are 3 kinds that we've learned up to this point. What are the 3 kinds?
MI, TB, or
Okay.
and then the sub-Q.
So we got a chicken wing, a little poke in the forearm, an IM, not MI, not MI. If you have an MI, we have a bigger issue. So we have learned intramuscular. That's the IM. Where does that one go? What do we call that?
Shoulder.
But what do we call that? It's not deltoid. What else have we learned?
The sub-Q, which is in the fatty part of your back arm.
Okay. Yep. And what's the last one?
The intradermal.
Okay. Where does that one go? What do we call that?
Forearm.
So, what if you were, well, I'm letting you guys get in. If you were ordered to do a flu shot, what kind of injection is it?
Iron.
Okay. What if you were ordered to do a vitamin B12?
Iron. Sub-Q.
Yep, sub-Q. What if you had an MMR?
Is there iron?
It's not IM.
Sub-Q.
Sub-Q. Yeah, so the ones that are going to be intramuscular are going to be vaccines specifically. So influenza, COVID, hepatitis B, HPV, Tdap, any of those are going to be intramuscular. What angle do we administer an intramuscular at? 90. We know it's in the deltoid. What is the length of the needle that you need?
1 inch.
1 inch. So 1 to 1.5 is preferred. On campus, we're just going to stay with 1 inch. What is the gauge? So the width of the needle.
22.
Not 22. Go up 1.
25. 20. Yeah, 20.
On campus, it's 25. 23 to 25 is the good range. So some examples of subcutaneous are going to be vitamin B12, MMR, MMRV, varicella by itself, or if the provider orders like heparin or insulin, all going to be sub-Q. What angle is that administered at?
The 45.
45, is that 45 up or 45 down? Up. If it goes in at 45, stays at 45, it comes out at 45. You got it. And we already talked about it's the back of the arm. What's the length of the needle?
Okay.
Nope.
5/8.
5/8. Yep. And remember, on campus, the package reads 0.625 inch. It's the same thing as 5/8 of an inch. And then intradermal is just going to be that TB test. And you'll always be able to tell the difference between what one is a TB or what one is an intradermal versus an intramuscular or subcutaneous. Intradermal, the amount that you give is 0.1. Subcutaneous or intramuscular is 0.5 milliliters or higher. Okay? What's the length of the needle that you need for a intradermal injection?
No, it's the tiny. 3/8? No.
Could be 3/8, 1/2 to 3/8. Yep. What's the gauge or the width of the needle that we're going to use?
23. Or 28. 25.
27. All right. Let's have you guys get in. Let's play.
So you said that the IM injections
Yeah.
are vaccines.
Yep.
But the sub-Q, you put MMR and MMRV, are those
So-
vaccines?
Those are live vaccines. And that's the difference.
So like a flu would go back there? The
No.
flu is the IM.
Flu is
that-
IM.
Oh, that's not live, I guess.
It's not live. Yep. If you were going to do a live one for flu, it's intranasal. That's a whole other story. I can't listen to her sing again. So I'm going to put her on a cute little freeze frame. An eye patch before, and I give a pacifier. My daughter has just found the love of her pacifiers that she never had before. And the other night she yeeted it at me at 3 in the morning when she made her way. Yeeted it. Oh, okay. Now you've got a witch hat. I like it. All right, let's play. 14 questions, I believe. Yeah. All right. What does ID mean? Just realized that she can't see the answers. Give me 2 seconds. It's intra, not inter, intra. Inter means through, intra means into, and that's what we want. Intradermal is into the skin. I'm just going to wait because I see hands going. I'm not going to force it.
Oh, you're fine. I was just...
She got some good writing. She writes slow, and I love it. But I'm not rushing anybody today. All right. Number 2. What does IM mean?
I'm not even popping up.
Hit the refresh
Oh
button
my
on your phone.
gosh, I can't read.
Intra. You know what? At least you're stuck. Oh.
I like focused on the this time. I can read the ending.
Intramuscular. Very good. Intra.
I'll get it one day.
It's okay. You knew the answer. I'm going to let you get to your blank page. All right. Number 3. Subcutaneous injection is what? It's really, you can document it as any of them.
I am on fire.
You really are. You know the answer.
On fire.
You can write it as SQ or sub Q. Any of those is perfectly acceptable. All right, number 4. The length of an intradermal injection needle is typically what? Half of an inch. Very good. I think on campus ours say 3/8, but half of an inch is pretty typical. Half of an inch is more used when you're doing like, because insulin needles are considered TB needles or intradermal needles, and those are half of an inch. And I think that's where that kind of comes from. Number 5. The gauge of the intradermal injection is typically what? The gauge, so the width of the needle. 27. Beautiful. Killing it. Look at you getting back on fire here. All right, number 6. The length of an intramuscular needle is typically what? 1 to 1.5. Okay. On campus, we use a 1 inch, but it can go up to 1.5 inches depending on the size of your patient. If you have an extremely large patient, it's going to take a longer needle to get to that muscle layer. Number 7. The gauge of an intramuscular injection needle is typically what? Oh, I heard Pri go, oh. It's a 23. So 23 to 25 is the normal range, but most people use about a 23 depending on the medication. I always stick with the 25. That's my preferred. Is 23 gauge wider or thinner than a 25?
Wider.
It's wider. The smaller the gauge number, the wider it is, or the bigger it is. Number 8. The length of a subcutaneous injection needle is typically what? It is 5/8 of an inch, but remember on campus that packaging will not say 5/8. It says 0.625 inch. Right. Number 9. What is the gauge of a subcutaneous injection?
Religious.
25. 27 is only for intradermals. Okay. Number 10. What is one location on the body for an intradermal injection? Intradermal is into the skin, so that's going to be your forearm. The deltoid gluteus or vastus lateralis are all muscular areas, so we would use them for what?
The butt?
Well, that's what the gluteus is.
Sorry.
What type of injection would we use if we were going into muscle? Very good. Intramuscular. All right. Number 11. What is one location on the body for an IM injection? It's all of them. We just talked about this.
What's the
Vastus lateralis. It's the thigh muscle that we use for babies. So it's the chunky thighs. Deltoid we know is the upper arm, and then gluteus is actually obviously the buttocks. Everybody good?
Yeah.
I don't want to rush you. You're still making notes. You can wait. Number 12. Where would you inject a subcutaneous injection? It's going to go into fatty tissue. So tissue comes before muscle. So on the skin layer, you go through the dermis layer, which is that first layer of skin. Then you go into fatty tissue, which is your subcutaneous layer. And then you go into your muscle, which is your intramuscular injections. Okay. All right, number 13. Where you should aspirate on all injections. Yes, so this is a false question. You don't aspirate on intradermals. You really only have to aspirate on intramusculars, and it's only some intramuscular injections. That's why I don't even teach it anymore, because it's something that's so unused that I don't want to teach you outdated stuff. What aspirate means is to, and if you look at the picture, it's to pull back to see if you are in a blood vessel and you've got blood in your injection. So if you have that, that means that you've gone in the wrong location. We don't even teach people how to aspirate anymore. Okay. All right. And final question to bring us home. How many times should you check your medication? The answer is 3. Before you give it, before you remove it from the cabinet, before you put it back in the cabinet. 3 times, the 3 befores. And you're following how many of, we call it the blank rights of administration. How many are there? 6. Can you guys tell me any of them?
The right patient?
Right patient. Perfect. That's a great one to start with.
Right medication.
Right medication.
Right dose.
Right dose.
Location.
Right location. The last 2 are always the 2 that throw people off. The right time.
Right to refuse.
And the right to refuse. You got it. The right patient, right time, right medication, right dosage, right location, right to refuse. All right. We don't need to watch this part. Okay, nobody took third. Ta-da! Okay. So, now let's see what you get. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on is the injection you're going to give to your partner today. Okay? Before you give it, what I'm going to have you do is on the back counter there, you guys see the setup of injections. So I'm going to pause it really quick so I can take this back there and show. Okay, so this setup is exactly how it's going to look day of final exams. Okay? This section will be out for injections, and it's got 3 compartments here. We've got a compartment for intramuscular injection needles, subcutaneous injection needles, intradermal injection needles. This is how I've set it up for many, many moons. I'm going to keep it the same, okay? So when you come back to get your injection ready for today, What you're going to do is grab all of the equipment that you need from back here. Come show me. I'm going to approve it or deny it, and then send you back to your table. Okay? If your needle or if your injection needs a draw up needle, they are separated here in this container by themselves. Right now that they are 25 gauge 1-inch needles. That could change next week. It's all based upon what I have as like extra needles. Okay? The one that is on the syringe, that's always the one that you're going to inject with. So when you're doing this, if you have to have a medication with a draw-up needle, make sure you take the one that's on the syringe off first and then draw up with just that single needle. Does that make sense? I know I've been putting stuff at your table for a long time.
No, I got it.
Okay. The other thing that I do is I always keep them separated. So when you are coming back here to look at things, make sure that you are reading the package. We've talked about the length of needles today multiple times. I want to make sure that you grab the correct needle length. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see what you guys got. All right, so last week we learned how to do venipuncture with an evacuated tube method. So we had a double-sided needle. We learned how to go through the process. What's the first step in doing a blood draw?
Finding a vein.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Do the tourniquet.
Okay, so I tie my tourniquet. How far above the antecubital space do I tie my tourniquet?
3
what?
inches.
Yeah, 2 to 3 inches above that bend in the elbow, and then I kind of palpate to find it. Now,
I
obviously,
wonder where it is.
this guy's been through a little bit. They all have, poor guys. They got a good track record. So once I find the vein, I'm going to take that tourniquet off and do what?
You are going to
clean the skin. So I'm going to take my alcohol prep pad in the middle, 2 inches out like a spiral, and I'm going to save that alcohol prep pad. I can't actually use alcohol on them, that's why I did that. Then I'm going to set up my equipment. So this is the butterfly needle. If you notice, it's got some tubing on it, and it's got butterfly wings. That's where the name comes from. So, butterfly injection. Okay. So, I open up my package. Now, we use these typically on patients who have very small veins, so elderly patients, cancer patients, children, or if we're doing a hand draw on the back of the hand. Today, and in all of our classes up to the end, we're going to just use them as a way to learn how to draw from an antecubital space. Okay? You've got one side that will puncture your patient, one side that will puncture the tube. Looks the same, except for instead of being this way, it's this way. Okay? So this is going to go onto our hub. When you twist it on, just give it an extra little push to make sure those two are really connected. And I hang it off to the side on my non-dominant side, but I also stick my tube in it, not pushing it on. It's just sitting in there to hold that in place. Otherwise, if I don't do that, it could fall off the phlebotomy station and then it's going to pull the needle out. Okay? Now, when we look at our butterfly needle, one side has writing on it, one side has little bumpies on it. The bumpies are going to go to the skin of the patient, so we should be able to read where it says BD and 21 gauge. If you can, that means the bevel opening of your needle is facing up, which is what we want. This yellow piece here is your safety. When you're finished with your procedure, you hold the tubing down here and then push up with the yellow piece, which will cover the safety or cover the needle. Okay? So, I'm ready to do my procedure. I'm going to retie that tourniquet. How long can a tourniquet be left on for?
1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Now, dealer's choice what you want to do here. Some people like to pinch the wings together and insert it. I don't care for that. I like to hold it like I do my regular phlebotomy. So 2 on the bottom, thumb on my top. I'm going to anchor my vein down, and I'm going to go about 1 inch above my thumb. 1, 2, 3. Now, the nice thing about butterfly needles is you can let go. The bumpies will hold it in place. Totally your choice. Some people are really just not comfortable with that. And my poor veins have been through a lot, so they don't really show me. But if I was in the vein, you would get a flash of red blood there. So needles in, we put our tube on. once you get blood flowing, what's the next step once you have blood flowing?
Release the tourniquet.
Release the tourniquet.
Oh, you want more?
Yeah, keep going.
And then you'll get your gauze,
Okay, gauze.
and well, I guess you take the tube out first
Yes.
once it's full.
TTN, tourniquet, tube, cover with your gauze, needle out. And then you can press down. Okay? And again, so I'm going to hold the tubing and just press, push and press up, locks my safety in. This whole thing is going to go into a sharps container, and then obviously you have your sample.
Very nice.
Very nice, right? Ready to do it?
Mhm.
Okay, let's do it.